relationship with Demeter has often been one of disappointment. However, I do have one which I've thrown into this review, which I love. So I have a 30, is it 30ml? I have one of the square bottles of this, and I loved it so much that I ended up getting this big one. Although, to be honest, this is one of the strongest Demeters I've ever smelled. So this is baby powder, and this one's actually so strong that I don't really need this massive bottle of it. It's going to take me a while to get through the other one. But I wanted to chuck it in because this is by far my favourite Demeter. This is a perfume that smells exactly how it's supposed to. And I'd say, actually, it has a powdery quality because it very much hits the baby powder on the nose in terms of it smelling like baby powder. But it has the strength of a Johnson's Baby Oil in terms of how strong that scent is and how sweet it is. And when you get the powder, obviously, you do get that general scent of that kind of Johnson's Baby Powder smell. But I think it's way more potent in the baby oil, and that's what this reminds me of. I love that smell. I find it really kind of soothing and comfy. I like kind of sitting around the house smelling like this. I have worn it out, but it's not one I wear out like regularly, but it's beautiful. I love it. Oh, it's just comfort in a bottle. If you don't like the smell of baby powder, obviously you'd be mad to get this, but I think that this is a really, really, really good Demeter, and you can get all of these, maybe like 20 quid. So I've had this one ages, and I was looking for a really long time at loads of other ones that I was like, I kind of want to smell them. I know I have to get them from Fragrance X. I have to get them from the US. And on that particular website, the ones I wanted, I couldn't get them in small bottles. I could only get them in these massive 120 mils. I don't need 120 mils of hardly any perfume because I have maybe 200 perfumes. But this is the way that I could smell them. And my mum gave me some money for Christmas. My family are very nice. They're kind of like, we don't really know what you want, but you probably know what you want. Here, have some money, go and buy you one. Not the most romantic thing at Christmas, but I decided to use that money to buy some of these to smell. And part of my thinking is this. These big bottles can be unscrewed and decanted. So my feeling was, if I loved any of them, obviously I have the option of keeping the big bottle. If I liked them, I could maybe decant some and keep it, and then sell what was left of the bottle. Or if I didn't like them, obviously, I can sell them because they're not the easiest to get in the UK. Some of these in particular, it's quite hard to find them, and people really try to rip you off. So I figured if I pay like 20 odd quid for a big bottle and then pay for it to come over from America, and I sell like a partial bottle for like a tenner or whatever, that seemed like a good idea. So that is what I'm probably going to do. Let's start with blueberry. Now, slightly annoyed about this. It just says on the notes blueberry, which in my humble opinion is absolute codswallop, because this doesn't just smell like blueberry. This smells gourmand in a different way. Okay, so obviously these are colognes. They're not particularly strong. They don't necessarily last very long. I'm going to spray it. Yep, it's got a very, very juicy blueberry in it, which I do appreciate and is totally awesome. But it also has a sort of savoury biscuity note, almost like a blueberry muffin, but not a perfume blueberry muffin, a literal blueberry muffin. There's something in this that I was like, that's not what blueberries smell like. That's what blueberries smell like when they're with something else that is a food. Now, if you're just watching this because you're interested in the Demeter and you've not seen my videos before, I really do not like things that smell like literal cookies or literal biscuits. I like perfume interpretations of those. I don't like things like the Sol de Janeiro perfumes because they actually smell like a biscuit or a cookie. And I think they smell like dirty towels. That's what that vibe gives me. So I was a bit sad when I smelt this because the blueberry in it is bang on juicy, delicious, sweet blueberry. But there's an underlying kind of savoury foodie smell that I was really confused about. So I went and had a look on Fragrantica. I looked at the thing it was compared to, did a bit of research, and apparently Demeter have put this in a blueberry bottle, but originally this perfume was not just this. So I'm not going to read you the notes for blueberry because the notes for blueberry just say blueberry. However, Demeter Jelly Belly Blueberry Muffin perfume has notes of blueberry, sweet notes, sugar, vanilla and popcorn, and that's exactly what I can smell. That is what is in this bottle. Now this isn't as bad as like Sol de Janeiro in terms of like that popcorny note, and I do not like perfumes with popcorn in, but the blueberry in this is so good, it's irritating. I was hoping I'd be able to replace my Britney Spears Midnight Fantasy with this, because as much as I like the blueberry muffin vibe of that perfume, when it dries down it gets really shampooey and then I find it a little bit uncomfortable to wear. So I can only wear it in very cold weather and normally just in the evening. I can't wear it for a full day because it starts to really bother me, that shampooiness. If you hadn't already noticed, if you're watching this and you haven't seen the name of my channel, it's called Skin Scents for Fusspots because I'm really fussy about perfume. But yeah, so I'm a bit sad that this has popcorn in it. And I'm not convinced that I'll be able to wear this without it bothering me. I am definitely going to try though, because the blueberry is smashing. If you don't have any kind of problem, if you like the Sol de Janeiro perfumes, if you like perfumes with popcorn note in, if you like things that literally smell like cookies or food, I like things that smell like food, but not when it has like bread or pastry or biscuits or literal butter, you know. So sticky toffee pudding is going to be an interesting one. But there is something magical about this, so the chances are I'll take a little decant and then I'll pass it on. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely not just blueberry. Popcorn, blueberry, sweet notes, sugar and vanilla. That makes way more sense for how this smells. So next, White Russian. I'd seen Delicious Delights talking about this one. She thinks it smells like white chocolate when it dries down, and she thinks it really smells like a White Russian. I don't agree that this smells like a White Russian. The reason being that I think this smells literally exactly like Bailey's Irish cream liqueur. Now that is not a White Russian, it's much sweeter, it's much creamier. Let's just give this a squirt. Yeah, this is full on Bailey's, and I find that kind of interesting because the other one I was looking at from Demeter, well there were two actually, I kind of wish I'd ordered it, but maybe at some point in the future. I'm trying not to buy too many Demeters now because generally speaking I'm not mad for them when they actually arrive. But they have got one called Irish Cream and I'm just like, this is Bailey's. This is straight up Bailey's. It's way creamier than a white. I mean, if you don't know what a White Russian is, it's I think there's sometimes vodka in it, but there's always some kind of coffee liqueur and milk. Not cream, milk. This is creamy. This is super creamy. It's very sweet. It has that vodka vibe in it, so it's got like, but the sweetness of it kind of turns it more whiskey-ish. That's what I mean. Like it really, really reminds me of Bailey's. Oh, my skin smells like Bailey's. Now, as with most Demeters that I've smelt in my life, it goes through a weird plastic stage. So you'll spray it full alcohol because this is a cologne spray. So it's always going to smell alcohol-y because there is a large amount of alcohol in cologne. You know, there's a very small percentage of actual perfume oils in colognes. That's why they don't last very long. That's why they're really alcohol-y when you first spray them. But this literally has a note of alcohol in it. So it says the notes in this are whipped cream, vodka, sugar and coffee. Now, here is the thing. I don't really get coffee in this. I don't think it smells like coffee. Like I said, I think it smells like Bailey's. I don't get that coffee vibe from this at all. I get no bitterness. It's very sweet. At a push, you could say it's like a caramel latte with whipped cream on top. But it's just, I don't get coffee really in this. I don't think it smells like coffee. And I think that's probably why Delicious Delights said it kind of dries down and smells a bit like white chocolate. And it does. At first, you get that bosh of kind of actual alcoholic note. And then I think it smells like Baileys. And then when it's in the deep dry down, I think it just smells sweet. It just has like a slight creamy sweetness. Totally nondescript, but actually a really pretty skin scent. So I quite like this one. I think it's totally worth buying if like as a little cheapie, as a little pick-me-up if you like very sweet scents. But if you're looking for coffee, I don't think this is the one. Because I just don't think it really smells like coffee. Okay, we're on to Sticky Toffee Pudding. So, the reason I got Sticky Toffee Pudding is absolutely simple. It's because I am in love with shower gel from Lush called Sticky Dates. It is beautiful. It's made with, well, dates, right? And I think it has the overall smell of a sticky toffee pudding. Like, that's what it smells like to me. It's super comforting, only good in cold weather because it's intensely sweet and syrupy, but I really like it. And what I wanted was that if I have a late night, really hot shower, and I use sticky dates in the shower, I wanted a perfume I could then put on that would kind of match that smell, you know, match what was left over on my skin. This one, I'm not sure about it. Again, I think that might be because it goes very literally gourmand in a way that's just a bit too much for me. But it's not one that I instantly like, oh no, you know, I'm thinking about this one. I think there's a butteriness in this that is what is kind of confusing me. It only gives toffee as a note. But the problem I have with this one, I think, is that if you're British, you might understand what I'm saying here. Sticky toffee pudding is a very specific, very British, very classic old school perfume. Old school pudding. And then it has a syrupy vibe to it, but it has like a date syrup vibe. I think this has a maple syrup vibe to it. That's what it's giving me. Now, maple syrup is it's beautiful. I love maple syrup, but it's a very specific type of syrup. It's very not a classic British flavouring, you know. There is a completely different sweetness, completely different flavour profile, and a general different vibe, smell, and everything to maple syrup than like treacle or date syrup or golden syrup, you know. So there is a butteriness to this and a maple syrupy vibe that almost makes me think of something like pecan pie. It's got that kind of densely, less like a sticky toffee pudding and more like a treacle tart. But if you made that treacle tart with maple syrup, it's really hard to describe, but yeah, there's definitely something maple syrupy about it that is throwing me off from the true sticky toffee pudding. But it is like, I mean, I've very rarely smelled things that actually smell like a sticky toffee pudding. So I think vibe wise, most people would be happy with this. I'm really just, what I'm trying to do is explain why it's not quite what I imagined it would be and why it doesn't quite work for my kind of sticky date shower gel continuation. There's something Canadian about it. Do you know what I mean? I still like it. But yeah, it's not my favourite, but I think I would definitely take a decant of this one. I don't need 120 ml of it. I don't need 120 ml of any of these. But I think this is definitely one that I would try after a sticky dates shower, and I'll just see how I get on with it. I've tried it on my skin and I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I preferred the White Russian. So yeah, that was that sticky toffee pudding. Not exactly what I imagined, but absolutely definitely nice. You know, it's a good one. Now, I've wanted the pistachio ice cream forever. I've read so many negative reviews of it. I've heard a few negative reviews of it, but mainly I've just read them on Fragrantica, people are quite scathing about this. They say it smells like rubber. I think all Demeter perfumes go through a weird little phase, just maybe for 10 seconds where they smell like rubber, and then they kind of change. Okay. Now, this is my... Is it my fave? I really like it. I can't say it's my fave yet. That would be rude, because I haven't talked about this and I haven't worn them enough to decide yet. However, I am so digging this. Reason being, it doesn't really have too much of a savoury nut smell. These are really wonky, some of these, just because they're screw tops underneath. It's gorgeous. I saw Gabby, oh no, I can't remember her channel. Is it Gabby Loves Perfumes? I saw her talking about pistachio ice cream, and she said it smells like a cheap pistachio ice cream. And I would say, yeah, it's got like a... It's probably not gelato level, do you know what I mean, of ice cream smell. But it smells like marzipan. Now, the only notes that are listed for this are pistachio and ice cream. However, I'm sure that there is almond in this as well, because it absolutely smells like marzipan. It smells like pistachio, ice cream and marzipan. It's lovely. And that's why I'm so chuffed with this particular one, is because I've really wanted a marzipan smell. I really wanted a marzipan perfume. I've not been able to really find... They're quite difficult to find. There's hardly any perfumes that have a marzipan note in. And most things that are described as smelling marzipan-y, I just don't like. They might be like... things like with Girl of Now, that kind of thing. Too strong, too cloying, too much patchouli, way too much patchouli. This is soft, it's pretty. You can kind of get a sense it's supposed to be pistachio, but when I close my eyes and sniff it, I'm just thinking of marzipan, like maybe sprinkled with some pistachio. Oh, super sweet, a little bit creamy, really pretty, really like it. Oh yeah, I'm really into that one. Again, I probably don't need 120 ml of it, so I will probably take a decant and see if anyone else wants the rest of it, but I'm really, really digging it. I wish I'd been able to get like the small square bottle, because I'd be so happy with that. But yeah, I'm really chuffed about it. So the next one is Cane Truffle, and I'd never seen this one before, so it wasn't like on my list. Like, these were on my list, but this one I just saw in the sale on Fragrance X, and I was like, oh, come on. I mean, your girl has to get that, because it's chocolate mint. And I like chocolate mint. Oh, it's also leaking terribly. That's a bit of a bummer, isn't it? Okay. This might end up being one that I just have to keep, because I can't trust it in its... I can't trust to send it to anyone else. Okay. Oh, I'm digging this. I am digging it, even if it is sticky. This is exactly what it says. It absolutely smells like a candy cane, but then it absolutely then has like a chocolate vibe in the background. It almost smells like, yeah. Oh, it smells like dark chocolate with candy cane cracked all over the top of it. It's a minty candy cane. Absolutely love this. This is a joyous Christmas feast. It's so good. It's just making me feel like a kid. Like, I really, really like this one. I am one of those people who likes chocolate in perfumes, and I also really like mint in perfumes. And mint is one of those things that quite often is in male perfumes, and people sometimes just don't like it in female perfumes for some reason, but I really like mint. I think it's great. I love it. So the combination of the kind of truffly chocolate, would I say it smells like truffle? I think there might be a very slight kind of ganache butteriness going on that makes it maybe when it dries down more of a truffle than a dark chocolate, but not enough that it's going to bother me. There's a slight saltiness. But that candy cane as well. Oh, and it's so fresh and bright at first, and then it gets sweeter as it dries down. So it just says here, sweet notes, chocolate, mint. That's all it says. But it absolutely smells like candy cane. Oh, yeah, it smells exactly like a candy cane. And then it smells like chocolatey truffle, but it's not like cloying or too strong. It's light. It's definitely a cologne. It's just so cute. Yeah, I think it's so fun. So yeah, I think, actually, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm always slightly disappointed. I'm often slightly disappointed, I should say, with Demeter when they don't smell the way that I'm expecting them to smell. However, I think I probably want to at least take a decant of every single one of these. They're so fun. They're just so fun. I adore pistachio ice cream. I am so loving candy cane truffle because it just is so Christmassy. I like White Russian. The dry down on this is just such a pretty sweet skin scent that it's kind of fun at first, and then it's just kind of nice and comfy. This one, I think I might develop a taste for, if you see what I mean. If I stop thinking of it as sticky toffee pudding, and maybe I start thinking of it as like a maple syrup tart or something, then I think I might start digging that one a bit more. And blueberry, if I can get over that popcorn note, I'm going to love it because the actual blueberry in it is fabulous. It's a juicy, sweet, it's much more of a fresh blueberry than I'm used to. So often when I smell blueberry in perfume, it just smells totally cooked. Like all of the juiciness has been cooked out of it. This is super, super juicy. It absolutely smells like a blueberry muffin where there's a fresh blueberry in it that has cooked just enough to pop, and then has added sugar. If the popcorn can continue to kind of smell a bit muffiny and doesn't get too savoury popcorny, then I might be able to wear that one as well. And baby powder, I just wanted to recommend it because I think it's great. I think it's such a good one. So the only other Demeter that I have at the moment is an oil. That's not true. What am I talking about? I also have cinnamon roll or cinnamon bun. That is fabulous for Christmas. It's so, so good. It's incredibly sweet. It's incredibly cinnamony. It's incredibly sugary. It's not ridiculously bready. So that one is amazing. I really loved that at Christmas. I wore it in December. I also have pumpkin pie. When I first got that one, I think because I had got it at the same time as cinnamon bun. Cinnamon bun is so sweet and cinnamony that it kind of overpowered the delicateness of the pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie, it's not particularly like a pastry smell, which I was very grateful for. Just a tiny hint of that. You get a very subtle pumpkin smell, and then a kind of all-spicy cinnamon and a little bit of sugar, kind of baking spice smell. I think I wore that one on Christmas Day this year, or at least Christmas Eve. And I think that one is fabulous as well. I really recommend it. I really like it. The only other one that I actually have and I don't like is the banana flambé. Now, banana flambé, sadly, it should be called banoffee pie because it really has a biscuit smell in it. It smells like bananas and toffee and cream on a biscuit base. So it doesn't at all smell like bananas flambé, which is like rum, bananas, like cooked bananas with rum and then like cream. It definitely smells more like a banoffee pie. So if you don't mind really biscuity smells, if you like things that smell like literal cookies or literal, very, very literal food, then I think banana flambé is great. But yeah, it's just that one's not particularly for me. So that's one I'm going to pass on. I have that in an oil form. But this was super fun. I don't think any of them are a dud at all. I think they're all super fun, and yeah, so I really enjoyed this, and candy cane truffle I'll be wearing at Christmas. Pistachio ice cream, I think I'm just gonna probably get involved with that. Smelling it, I've had these in a little box because I was ill and I lost my sense of smell a while back, but now my sense of smell is all back to normal. Re-smelling the pistachio ice cream, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to wear that. I'm definitely going to have to wear it. It's absolutely delicious. But yeah, there you go. That's a bit of Demeter for you.